Okay, so what is up, everybody? So, everyone, welcome back to the stream. Today, we're going to be building a analog style synth created and inspired by Moog in Reaktor. So, think thick, warm, powerful bass line that's perfect for any genre. So, let's get started. And when we dive into Reaktor, we're going to have three different sections. One is the play section, one is the patch section, and one is the build section. We're going to jump into the build section today, and we're going to build out that Reaktor, our Moog style inspired synth. So when you start off in Reaktor, we're gonna first build out the core of our synth, which is using our oscillator. And Moog is famous for its harmonically rich waveforms. So we'll start off with two classic ones. We'll start off with a saw wave and a square wave. So I'm gonna go into Reaktor, and we're gonna go into the bento box collection, and I'm gonna start off with a saw and a square wave. So I'm gonna use the basic patch that we have here, which is our basic oscillators. We can manipulate these and change them to any waveform that we want. We're gonna start off with that saw, and that other waveform which we need is gonna be a square. So we bring in a saw and a square, and those are our basic waveforms. And we're gonna patch in with a note in module, and that's gonna be how we're gonna send our signal from our keyboard to our software, our Reaktor software. So I'm gonna grab a note in. We're gonna send MIDI note input to both of these oscillators. Gonna name them just for some organization. Oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. And then I'm gonna actually mix them both together. So because this is gonna be a single sound, we're gonna blend them both together. So the next thing we'll need is probably a mix and a filter. So actually I'm gonna bring in a regular mix, and we're gonna combine those signals. And once we have that, we're going to then grab, just get a feel for what our sound sounds like right now. So I'm going to turn up our volume, and you can hear the two waveforms here coming through. That's one of them, the first one. And the second one is our pulse wave. So one is our saw, one is our pulse. So the idea here is we want to blend them both together into one waveform. And basically, we're going to mix them both together. And now I think what we'll do is we'll add in a filter to really filter out frequencies we don't want to hear and filters that we do want to hear. So I'm going to filter both of them after they're combined, actually, so that we can hear their combined output and filter and play with the filter knob. So let's see. So we're filtering out some of the notes, some of the frequencies, I should say. And we have our pulse wave here. Oh, okay. We missed one. There we go. There we go. We got something. And now, filtered out higher and low frequencies. I'm going to bring this up in pitch, just to match the octave. And then we're going to keep tweaking our sound, possibly adding the low pass 24. Let me see if I can let the low pass go. And then let's add some cutoff, dial that in, and maybe some keyboard tracking. So I'm going to actually modulate this keyboard tracking because it'll give us an interesting sound. I'm going to use an envelope to do that. We're going to call this the filter envelope, filter ADSR. And then once we got our filter ADSR, we can then attempt to modulate. So we're able to hear the sound, but we're not having control. So I'm going to add in an amp so that I can control that. And that amp is also going to have an envelope. So we can control that sound over time. Turn up the volume a little bit, it's on 2.4. Dial in our sounds. Okay, and there we go. We got something that's sounding Moog signature and really allowing us to experiment and use this in our productions. We've controlled our ADSR envelope on our amp and our filter. We've added in 2 oscillators and we've detuned one just slightly so that we can get that little bit of clashing. I detuned a little bit more to get a little bit more clashing with those waves forms and create a little bit more organic movement in our sound. So now I'm going to add a little bit of saturation to finish it off, just to put icing on the cake and really just drive home our sound. Let's add some distortion, make it a little crunchy. Really push that, drive that sound. Down. Getting a lot of distortion. We're gonna make it go crazy. A lot of distortion there. I'm gonna bring that down and dial it back so we can get something a little bit more bearable. And there we have it. So we've dialed in our sound. We got something that sounds pretty nice to be in our music. A Moog-Inspired bass synth built entirely in Reaktor in just a few minutes. and it's thick, warm, ready for power to add power to your tracks. Thanks for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this quick sound design session, make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what synth we should tackle next, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Okay, let me just organize my panel real quick, just so that things are in order. And this one is actually, before we go, the amp ADSR. Just to correct that. Gonna bring it beside the amp. Just cleaning up our panel. Drive. Mix 4. And our filter. And there we have it. So that's a little bit more cleaned up, as it should be. Gonna bring that to the end. And there we have it. I'll see you next time.